So Becky was recently released on VOD, and it stars Lulu Wilson from Annabelle Creation, Ouija Origin of Evil, and The Haunting of Hill House. And it also stars, and this is why everyone's talking about this movie, Kevin James. Yes, Paul Blart Mall Cop Kevin James. And he plays a very intimidating Nazi skinhead who is looking for a key that was left at this house where Becky and her father now live, or they own the place. And so he goes there after escaping from prison with 3 other guys from prison, and they terrorize this family, and it turns into a sadistic Home Alone, essentially, with Kevin James as the Nazi skinhead antagonist of the movie. And he's actually very believable as this character. Wild. Just wild. Now, coming from the trailer and coming what from people expect of this film, it's pretty much exactly what you think it is. The performances from Lulu Wilson and Kevin James are both great. I really enjoy Lulu Wilson from the previous, aforementioned films and TV series. So finding out that she was playing Becky, of course, that immediately elevated my expectations for the film. And then the Kevin James Nazi skinhead thing, I was like, wow. And it really does deliver on those fronts for sure. The storyline is pretty damn basic. I mean, Becky and her dad are at odds with one another because Becky's mom's just died, and of course he's trying to bring a new woman into their life, very much like the Lodge, and Becky is not having this. Then the prisoners show up, they want something from them, and Becky turns into the Kevin McAllister from hell. It's almost like if the Macaulay Culkin from The Good Son was replaced the Macaulay Culkin Kevin McAllister character from Home Alone. That's basically what you'd get with this movie. Now, Becky is not a psychopath, but she definitely fucks some people up in this movie. And the graphic violence in the movie is pretty damn good. I mean, all things considered, when you have a child murdering people, you don't expect a lot, but you get a good amount. And the kills are pretty damn brutal. And there are some pretty surprising moments. One in particular that I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, all right. So overall, I really did enjoy this movie. But I think people just kind of need to know what they're getting themselves into. It's very much an R-rated Home Alone. She sets up traps, and you have to believe that a little 13-year-old girl, I think she's actually 15 in real life, but they say she's 13 in the movie, which she looks about that age, so it works. You have to believe a little 13-year-old girl could take on 4 escaped convicts, 2 of which are pretty damn big dudes. One in particular, the main guy named Apex, played by a guy that I recognize from some stuff. He is intimidating as fuck. This guy's a giant, man. And you've got to believe that she can take on. Now, there is some, and this is where the surprise kind of stuff comes in, because there's a little bit more depth to this than you might expect. And it does go in some directions that you're like, oh, okay, interesting. But then, on the other hand, the rest of the movie is exactly what you think it is. It kind of, adheres to all of the typical tropes and whatnot. So, on one hand, it's kind of straightforward and almost generic, but on the other hand, you got a lot of cool style, and there are some twists and turns, and Lulu gives a great performance, and you've got the Kevin James aspect of this, which I think everyone should see, because it's like, holy shit, I can't believe this is happening. So it's a movie that I think is an absolute, I think it's a definite must-see. Just so you can be like, yeah, dude, I saw the Kevin James movie where he plays a skinhead. But yeah, I was totally into this, and I definitely recommend it. I'll be looking forward to what the general consensus will be on this, but it has like a 5.7 on IMDb. I think that's outrageous. It just, I don't know. Films like this, they get shit on so easily because there's going to be a whole believability factor for people. They're going to be like, this is just stupid. And it's like, this movie's exactly what you expect it to be for the most part, except for unless you didn't think there was going to be some gore or graphic violence in it, then it's going to surprise you in that way. But the film itself, just kind of how the story plays out, what goes on with Becky and how she kind of dispatches of people and whatnot, it is really kind of what you expect it to be. So for me, if people are disliking this one, it's like, what did you expect from this movie? You're getting exactly what you signed up for. And as long as that's what you're looking for, then you should be pleased. If you think that concept is dumb, this movie isn't going to surprise you. You're going to be like, oh, it's exactly what I thought it was, and it was stupid. So there you go. So this movie, it offers something and delivers on it. And I was definitely a fan. So let me know when you watch it, or if you watch it. I'll be curious, as I said, to see how this all resonates with the horror community, because that's basically the target demographic here. Even though it's labeled as like an action thriller or something, it's very much aimed at the horror crowd. So we'll see what you guys have to say. But for me, I'm a fan. Definitely is something I would watch again at some point. So yeah, let me know. Adios.